Hi, this is Joe Cali. Hope you're all doing well and weathering this very difficult time. I put together this video because many of my clients, some of you, have been contacting me recently through phone calls and texts and so forth, asking me if this is a good time to think about buying a house. In fact, some of you have even asked that question apologetically, almost as if you're embarrassed to ask the question. So I thought I'd put the video together because that way I can give the same information and same rationale to everyone at the same time. I base my answer not just on my own personal experience, but also on the experience and thoughts of many people whom I speak with on a weekly basis and whose opinions I respect. I have a weekly phone call and I contact and speak with one of the area's leading mortgage lenders, has been doing this for over 30 years. I also speak to some investors. One of them is an investor that invests in small businesses, another is a real estate investor. One of the people that I speak with is a professor of marketing and economics, and some other agents and people in the industry. And I myself, of course, have been buying and selling real estate starting when I was 21 years old. So my answer, is this a good time to think about buying a house, is not just my feeling, but also that of those people that I speak with. It's pretty consistent, which is it is actually probably the best time in my professional lifetime to buy a house. The reason is, there's several reasons why. But of course, they're all dependent on the fact that you have to be financially able to purchase a home. You have to be comfortable in your job, and you have to feel, of course, that your job is secure, and you have to be emotionally ready and able to purchase a home. But of course, those would be the criteria that I would say at any time that you'd need to have in order to consider buying a house. But if you are financially qualified, if you feel secure in your job and emotionally you're ready, this is by far the best time that I can remember, and that includes what happened in the financial meltdown of 2008 and 9. Why is it such a great time? Well, first of all, interest rates are still very low. Right now they're running about 3.25% to 3.5%. Many of you think that those were the interest rates, that's the way it's been for a long time, and in fact that is not the case. When I first started in real estate, interest rates were between 10 and 15%. Think about that, early 80s. That means that if you were to buy a $400,000 house and take out, let's say you took out a $400,000 mortgage, the interest rate of 3.5% would give you a mortgage payment of about $1,700 a month. At 12.5%, that would be about $5,000 a month. Same house, $1,700 versus $5,000. Interest rates stayed in the tens until the 1990s, when they started to fall, and they fell to the 8.5% to 7%, and ended the 90s around 6%. Wasn't until about 2011 that interest rates actually fell below 5%. So until 2011, interest rates were over 5%. And it's really been the last 4 or 5 years that they've run in the threes. So low interest rates, number one reason. Number two reason, probably the single biggest reason, is you are not going to be competing against a lot of other buyers. Example, if any of you have been looking at homes in the past year or two, you know what I mean. A year ago, I attended an open house with a client on a street called Saturn Drive in Shrewsbury, Mass. Got to that house about 15 minutes before it started, and there were already 60 cars, 60 cars waiting to go in. The agent estimated that over 100 people looked at that open house just in the 2 hours that it was available for viewings. They ended up getting over 30 offers. Pretty much all of them were over asking price. My client offered about $15,000 over asking price. It was a house built in the 1950s. I think it was priced at around $390,000. My clients offered 15,000 over. They weren't even close. They were blown away by offers that were more than that. That was very common last year and the year before and the year before. The last 3 years have been a seller's market. If you were in the market for a home in the 300s, 400s, 500s, it would not be unusual for there to be multiple offers, many of them over asking price, people waiving inspections. That's common. Today, it's a very different story. If you go to look for a house today, you may be the only person looking at that house. I sold 2 houses last week, the week of April 7th through the 15th, and we were the only people to make an offer on those homes. There was some negotiation, but they got sold. And the clients, the buyers, were the only ones bidding and the only ones negotiating. That's typical right now. Listings are down versus a year ago, about 30%, but buyers, actual people buying, are down about 80%. That means there's fewer homes than there were in the market a year ago, but a lot fewer buyers. And what that means for you is that you will have a better chance of getting the house you've dreamed of buying without having to overpay for it. Third reason is that because of everything going on with the virus and people being uncertain about the situation, sellers are much more likely to sell for less than they originally wanted to sell their homes for. So a year ago, sellers would price their homes and expect to get asking price or a little bit more. Negotiations would be very one-sided. It was a seller's market. Now, if you make a seller a reasonable offer, you can show them that you're financially qualified. You can show them that you're serious about your offer. There's a very good chance you're going to get that house for less than asking price. So the combination of the fact that interest rates are low, much less competition from other buyers, and the fact that sellers are motivated, all three of those things are the right elements you need to make this a buyer's market. And that has not existed, at least in this part of the state, for at least 3 or 4 years. And so if you are in the position where you're comfortable looking for a home, you're ready to make the right offer, if you find the right house, this is a fantastic time to look for a home. If you're interested in more information or you want some data to support some of the things I've said, please feel free to email me or text me or call me. I'll give you whatever information I have. If you'd like to see a home, we are doing showings. We're using safe methods to show the homes. We are making sure that we're practicing social distancing. We're washing our hands before and after we do a showing. We wear face masks and gloves, and we're doing everything we can to keep ourselves, our families, and our clients protected while still being able to look at homes that they're interested in seeing. So feel free to reach out to me, and in the meantime, please take care of yourself, stay healthy and safe, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.